Hey guys, welcome back to Infinite Math Help Squared. As promised, this video is going to quickly go over patterns that we find when multiplying or dividing by 10. So what I would like you to do is grab a calculator if you don't have it, and then go through the prompts that I give you, and you should be able to discover patterns, right? So hopefully you have your calculator right now, and we're going to start with we'll start with multiplying. Let's take a whole number, 35. Right now, the place value, this is 3 tens, 5 ones, and then we don't have any tens or hundreds. Let's even throw in this one. No thousands either, right? Okay, so now let's take this and we're going to start experimenting. What happens when we multiply it by 10? And that's where your calculator is going to come in. What happens when you multiply 35 by 10? What do you get? What happens when you multiply it by 100? What do you get? And lastly, what happens when you multiply it by 1,000? What do you get? You should get 35 times 10 to be 350. 35 times 100 to be 3,500 or 3,500. And then 35,000, right? So where is the decimal point? That is the $1 million question. If I rewrite it the way we wrote it before, what do you notice? Well, hopefully you noticed that originally it's here right before the ones, but now it moved one spot over to the right. Same spot in all three places, but where did it move? It started here and moved twice. It started here and moved 3 times. And then if you compare that to what you see here, this one moved only 1 time and there's 1 0. This one moved twice and there's 2 zeros. This one moved 3 times and 3 zeros. That's not a coincidence. This is our base 10 number system in play here. So anytime you multiply by a multiple of 10, right? 10 times 1, 10 times 10, or 10 cubed, right? So when you do this, you are moving the decimal place value, right? So you can say, oh, times 10, move it once. Times 100, move it twice. Times 1,000, move it 3 times. All right, one pattern down. Let's take a look now what happens when instead of multiplying, we divide. So this means that we're gonna continue with the 35. Right? And we are going to divide by 10. We are going to divide by 100. And we are going to divide by 1,000. And we're going to take a look. So again, this is where your calculator is going to come in handy because, and I'm going to move that real quick because I want to add my decimal place values again, because that's part of looking for the patterns, right? Okay, so what happens if you take 35 and divide it by 10 in your calculator? Hopefully you notice that you get 3.5. What happens if you divide by 100, right? 35 hundredths. And then if you multiply by, divide by 1,000. Okay, so let's take a look at what's happening to our decimal point now. Same spot, right? Same start as before, after the 1 spot. And where did it go? It went backwards 1. It went to the left 1. How about over here? Left twice. How about over here? Left 3 times. So it's going in the opposite direction that it did with multiplication. So if I divide by a multiple of 10, it's going to move to the left. And again, it's going by how many zeros there are. This was only 1 and there's 1 0. This was 2 to the left and there's 2 zeros. 3 to the left and 3 zeros. This is an amazing shortcut that you can use when multiplying or dividing by any multiple of 10. All right, guys, till next time.